I am so excited to be live with you today. Baby Yoda is as well, or Grogu. That's kind of a spoiler alert. Anyways, I'm Sean Q, your high ticket sales coach. And in this training, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into a 10-minute conversation I had with an Olympic swimmer in the hallway of a Nashville gym that literally changed the way I am doing life and the way I'm doing business. And I know it's going to change the way you show up too. If you're live with us, go and give me a hashtag team live. If you're on the rerun, go and put hashtag team rerun. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Now, if you want the notes version of this, all you got to do is give me a hashtag notes in the comments below. And what's going to happen is we're going to send you the written version of this training. Now, people watch this training every single week. They download these every single week, these notes, and they print them out because it's just such good value. It's almost like free training for you. So go ahead and put hashtag notes. We will make sure to get that sent to you. Now, I'm ready to jump in. Are you? Let me know in the comments below what you're up to. Where are you tuning in from? I'm Sean Q. Let's jump in. All right, I'm Sean Q, your high ticket sales coach, and I help coaches and experts easily attract dream clients so you can have more fun and not use all the icky, the non-consensual, the weird sales tricks of the past. We do this using our Heck Yes sales method, and today I am so excited to give you a little bit of insight into a 10-minute conversation I had with an Olympic swimmer so that you can become an Olympic entrepreneur. Listen, so many times, like right now, it's kind of Olympic season. Tokyo is like, we're doing a lot of like the pre-trainings and the trials, and it's like really cool. And in my own opinion, I think being an entrepreneur should be an Olympic sport because of how much work we put in and day out. I mean, you probably wake up early. You likely are like thinking about your business. I saw this really fun meme that was like regular people sleeping and they're snoring, and then entrepreneurs sleeping and they're thinking like a million thoughts. Like, did I create that lead magnet? I need to respond to that email. Did I return that phone call? And it's so frequent that we're wearing so many hats. I just want to recognize the fact that if you're in this online or even offline business space, you deserve all the accolades as every Olympian out there. So I want you to start considering yourself an Olympian. You're an Olympic entrepreneur. You are somebody who is going to be performing at your highest levels. And if you've been doing business and doing life not at that level, I'm going to give you 3 tips that they gave me that are going to literally help you level up the way you do life and the way you do business. Now, a little bit about me. I have been swimming. So 2 months ago, I started swimming consistently. So every single day swimming. The first week, I literally swam like 1 or 2 laps. Like it was like just super basic because I didn't know what I was doing. And as time has gone on and I've been consistently just showing up, doing the thing, going swimming every single morning, I am now at a place where I have been swimming 2 miles a day. It's pretty crazy. So when I met this Olympic swimmer in Nashville, I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, you got to give me some like how do I perform? How do I swim at my highest levels so that I can like really like level up so I can perform really, really well? And these are the 3 tips that she gave me. Literally blew my mind because of how simple and easy they are. Okay, super simple, super easy. You ready? Tip number 1, learn the basics. Learn the basics. She told me something. She said, everything in life has basic principles that you can learn and begin to implement. Whether it's an Olympic sport, whether it's chess, whether it's, doing any type of activity, even business, there are basic principles at play. And if you know how to learn what the basic principles are, then you can begin to put them into action. You can begin to understand at a bigger picture why things work the way they work. So she told me, learn the basics of breathing, how you breathe when you're swimming, learn the basics of, arm movement and, how you jump in the pool, learn the basics of your feet movement, learn the basics of core management and energy management so you don't burn yourself out as you're swimming. Once you learn the basics, everything becomes so simple. So how do you apply this in business? Well, in business, there are basic principles that you can apply when they are applied, you're going to see success. So for some of you, you have been so focused on like advanced strategies and like the latest tech, when the reality is maybe you've been neglecting some of the basics and that's why you're not seeing success. Here are a couple of basics that you should be focusing on every single day so you can sharpen that axe and get better at it. Basic number 1 is sales. Business is all about helping people and then making money from the way you're helping people. That's it, literally. It's saying, hey, I'm willing to bring my expertise, my skill, my time, my effort, my energy in getting you results. And in transaction of that, as I give you all of that, you're going to then give me money. And that is literally, if you know how to make money, if you learn the process of how do I go out and sell something, how do I go out and make money, then literally no matter what business you're in, whether you're a coach, an expert, whether you're selling things offline, you are capable of getting that in front of customers and being able to sell. So number 1, if you're not practicing your sales skills, if you're not getting into conversations, if you're not really honing in your sales process and figuring out how do I actually make the sale, then I want to encourage you, begin to focus on sharpening that skill. The second basic is attraction, essentially marketing. Right? Like, how do I get the right people to pay attention to me? How do I create content or put something out into the world in such a way that the right people raise their hand and they say, oh my gosh, I'm interested. I want more information. If you can learn how to attract people, the right people, and then get them to buy, you've literally got the basics of business down. Now, all the other stuff that go along with business, like fulfillment and onboarding and accounting and all of that really good stuff, those are things you should learn as well. But if you don't know how to sell what you're offering, and if you don't know how to market it, then accounting won't matter because you're not even going to be bringing in any money to account for. So you want to make sure that you are mastering those 2 basics, how you're attracting the right people and how you're getting them to commit to doing the work by investing emotionally, energetically, and yes, financially to doing the work. You got to make sure that you have that. So basics, learn the basics of anything you want to do, specifically in business, that's marketing and sales. In swimming, if you're interested in swimming, it's breathing, arms, legs, and core, energy management, and just learn what those basics are. Now, here's where a lot of people get into trouble. They get into this thing called analysis paralysis or overwhelm because what they do is they learn. How many of you, let me know in the chat, have been in a place where you have just kept learning? You just kept learning and learning, taking, reading every blog, listening to every video, you're just consuming information. Well, here's the truth. The collection of information does nothing for you. It's in the execution of that information where you begin to actually take steps forward. So let me repeat that again, because that was a big breakthrough for somebody. Collecting information will likely only lead to overwhelm. It does nothing for you but overwhelm you because you're just collecting information. It's in the execution of that information where you begin to see forward progress, where you begin to make forward momentum. So don't just collect information. Don't just take notes. Go do something with it, which brings us to tip number 2. After you've learned the basics, practice the basics. Practice the basics. Put it into action. So I've actually seen this in my own swimming journey. I started watching YouTube videos of how do you breathe, how do you move, and then I started putting it into practice. I started implementing it. I started really getting in and doing the work. And okay, let me make sure my arm is doing the right thing. You want to make sure you're implementing it on a consistent basis. Now, consistency is key. I can't tell you anyone. I actually want to give you a challenge. Point out an Olympian somebody who has performed at the highest levels and have achieved incredibly great results who weren't also consistent in their practice, who weren't also consistent in showing up every day. Now, maybe they didn't feel like it every day. Maybe they didn't have, maybe showing up every day for them. Some days were like, hey, I'm showing up for just 5 minutes. And then some days they were like at their highest levels, but they showed up consistently. Show me someone who has achieved greatness that wasn't also consistent. Consistency in your practice of the skills and the basics that you're learning is so fundamental to success. Here's where oftentimes we get into trouble with consistency. It's fear, procrastination, it's uncertainty. We do something and then maybe we give up because it didn't work the first time or the second time or the third time. I mean, imagine seeing a baby and they're crawling and they're learning how to walk. And after the 10th time of them trying to take steps forward, they fall. You get really mad at them, right? You start yelling at them. You start calling them a loser. That'd be the worst thing ever. It's so important to give ourselves the same grace and the same permission to make mistakes. As you're taking steps and as you're practicing, you want to build into your formula, into your expectations, I'm going to make mistakes. So, for example, with swimming, and I see Rael with us. Hey, so good to see ya. Super good to see ya. So he says, very true. So good. So good. So, what was I saying? I got distracted. Oh, okay. So in my swimming, guess what? When I first started, I was just really, 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 really bad at it. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was making every mistake. But here's what I made a decision on. I decided, even though I'm going to make mistakes, and I might even embarrass myself, I'm willing to be embarrassed long enough until I master this. I'm willing to be embarrassed for long enough until I master this. That's the question I have for you right now. Are you willing to make every mistake in the world, be a little bit embarrassed, but do the work enough until you succeed? For long enough until you succeed? Right? If you're in this, like, if it doesn't work the first time, second time, fifth time, 10th time, I'm out, it's likely you're not going to see success. You got to practice over and over and over and over. Practice makes confidence. Practice creates confidence. So practice the skill set. Go get into sales conversations and mess up. Have the worst sales conversations ever. Go create content and make the worst content ever. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get better. And then you're going to get better. And then you're going to get better. Consider it an experimentation. Consider it practice. I'm just practicing. It's okay if I make mistakes. I'm at practice. So you want to make sure you're practicing. Which leads me to tip number 3. Number 1, you want to learn the basics. Once you've learned it, you want to execute on those basics. You want to practice those basics. And then tip number 3, once you practice the basics and you really begin to become an expert in your own right, tip number 3, teach others the basics. Teach the basics. I was talking to this Olympian and she said, when I started to teach people who were beginners, basics, right? They were just getting started. I actually got better at my craft. And there have been studies that show there are barriers that you cannot surpass unless you take others with you when it comes to performance. That you can get better, like really good on your own, but there's a barrier, there's a ceiling that you cannot pass unless you bring others above that ceiling by teaching them. She said, when I started teaching beginners how to swim, I got 10 times better because I remembered the basics. Because the basics weren't something that I just knew. It had to be something that I could easily communicate. So I want to ask you, who are you mentoring? Who are you bringing alongside you in this journey of entrepreneurship? Who are you showing up for? Who are you saying, hey, I'm invested in your success as well? How are you showing up for people in your life? Maybe it's family members, cousins, nieces, nephews. Maybe it's your own kids. Who are you teaching and showing up for? Who are you choosing to invest your time, energy, effort in? Because once they succeed, it just brings meaning to your life, brings fulfillment to your life. Rael says, absolutely true. So good to see you. He also says, hey man, so good to see you. You got to learn the basics, you got to practice it, then you got to teach others so that you can then begin to surpass your own limitations. This 10-minute conversation with this Olympian literally shifted the way I do business and I think about business. I'm reminded when I get to a place where I'm like, I'm not breaking the barrier. So, okay, who can I go teach? Or what basic skill have I been neglecting? Because I'm into all the fancy tech, all the fancy, can we make business so simple? Is that okay? Can we just make business so simple? Simplify. Learn how to attract the right people. Learn how to sell to the right people. Once you figure those two things out, you will literally become unstoppable. Now, I want to tell you a story of somebody who is implementing this, which is really exciting. You ready to hear? Let's jump in. All right, so I work with literally hundreds, thousands of entrepreneurs, experts to raise their prices, build their offers, launch to six figures. Now, I want to share with you a story of a girl of this incredibly powerful, inspirational woman who works with Black women in their journey to building relationships and dating and getting married and like really uncovering a lot of the things that may be stopping them. Her name is Tracy Reddy. Now, Tracy joined our program. She was a part of our mastermind. But what's really incredible about what she does is she figured out, how do I attract the people who are willing to invest? Because I can attract everyone, but I want the people who are willing to invest in their business. So she does this weekly show where she brings on experts and she relationship experts and psychology experts and just incredible things. And what is incredible about that is this weekly show she gets hundreds of comments and shares and engagements. But here's the truth. For years, she didn't know how to do that. But she went back to the basics. How do I attract the people who are willing to invest? And now she's landing clients that are paying her literally thousands of dollars to show them how to uncover all of the trauma, maybe the relational trauma, and how to really become a whole, fulfilled, excellent Black woman in the space and find Mr. Right by becoming Mrs. Right. And she does it incredible. So she's learned how to attract the right people. She's learned how to sell to the right people. And her business has gone great. If you're ready, if you really want to show up and learn how to attract the right people, as well as sell them the right things, I want you to sign up for the free challenge we're doing. It's in about 3 weeks, like crazy. It starts July 26th. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to clientschallenge.com. The link is right there. Our team's going to put it in the chat. Click on the link, go to that link, and what's going to happen is you're going to be able to click your sign up for free. It's a 5-day challenge where we're literally going to show you how to find dream clients, the right people, and how to sell them. I genuinely want to see you land a client during these 5 days. We've seen several people do it, including Tracy, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm going to leave you with one question to kind of think about and consider, and I want you to write this question down. You ready? Let's jump in. Okay, here's the question. I want you to ask yourself this. What basic skill have you been neglecting? What basic skill have you been neglecting? Maybe you've been overcome by imposter syndrome, where you're trying all the fancy new tech, you're trying all these different strategies. What basic skill though? Let's simplify business. What basic skill have you been neglecting? Maybe it's mastering the sales process. Maybe it's figuring out how to attract the right people. What basic skill have you been neglecting that you're now committing to, you're choosing to focus on, to sharpen that skill set? Let me know in the chat. Maybe it's marketing, maybe it's sales. Let me know. I'm Sean Q, your high-ticket sales coach. I'm so excited for this. Here's what I learned from a 10-minute chat from an Olympian swimmer who literally changed the way I do business. Tip number 1, learn the basics. Once you learn the basics of any skill, any craft, you'll be able to accomplish incredible things. In business, it's sales, or how to sell the right offer to the right people, and it's marketing, how to attract the right people who are ready to invest. Tip number 2, practice the basics. Don't just collect information, execute on that information, implement on that information, put it into action. Tip number 3, teach others the basics. Who are you choosing to invest in, to mentor, to go all in on, so you can break the barrier of your own performance and bring others along with you? As you teach others, you become better. I'm Sean Q, your high ticket sales coach. Sign up for the client challenge. It's a one client away challenge. It's absolutely free. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.